Hey everybody, hope you're doing great. We are continuing our reading of the Tafseer. We were in Surah Al-Baqarah 67 through 74 and picking up on a Quran verse 266 and page 92 of the Tafseer. So we made their fate an example to their own generation and to those who came after them, and a lesson to those who fear Allah. And then it goes on to the interpreter. That is, the situation of those amongst you who broke the Sabbath is something with which you are very familiar. They are the ones whose story is told in detail in Surah Al-Araf, where Allah says, glory be to Him, ask them about the town which was by the sea and how they broke the Sabbath. Al-Araf 7:163. Because of this grave sin, they deserved the wrath of Allah and the punishment of being turned into apes despised and rejected, that is, disdained and humiliated. Okay. Commit terrible sins, you will have a punishment. Yes, we know. Allah made this punishment an example to their own generation, that is, the nations that witnessed it and those whom the news reached at that time. That's a good point. So it's not just that those who saw it, but also throughout time. As we know, have you not gone through the earth and traveled and seen? And then in the Quran we also learn, you can be replaced. And to those who came after them, thus proof was established against people. This story also serves to deter people from disobeying Allah, but it is not a beneficial lesson for anyone except those who fear Allah. Others do not benefit from His signs. Okay, so the benefits are exclusively for those who can see His signs and are believers. And then Surah Al-Baqarah 67 and 68. And remember when Musa said to his people, Allah commands you to sacrifice a cow. They said, are you mocking us? He said, Allah forbid that I should be so ignorant. They said, pray to your Lord to make clear to us what sort of cow it should be. He said, He Allah says the cow should be neither too old nor too young, but somewhere in between. Now do as you're commanded. They said, pray to your Lord to make clear to us what her color should be. He said, He Allah says a yellow cow, pure and rich in color, pleasing to the beholder. Oh yes, I remember listening to a Mufti Menk lecture where he got into the details of how these people were just give us more details, and it's just do the action. But I understand there's a twofold thing here though. As they say, the devil's in the details, but you can't get hung up on semantics. You know what I'm saying? There's a balance there. So it's quite interesting. Pray to your Lord to make clear to us what her color should be. He said, He Allah says, a yellow cow, pure, rich in color, pleasing to the beholder. They said, pray to your Lord to make clear to us exactly what she is, because to us all cows look alike. And surely if Allah wills, we will be guided. All cows look alike. No, they don't. He said, He Allah says, a cow not broken in till the earth or water the fields, sound and whole, so unbeaten. Because sometimes those working ones, you have to kind of whip them, right? Without blemish. Oh yeah, see, because if you whip them, they're going to get blemishes. They said, now you have brought the truth. Then they offered her in sacrifice, although they almost failed to do so. And remember when you killed a man and disputed among yourselves concerning the crime. But Allah brought forth that which you were concealing. Allah brought forth that which you conceal. Because He knows everything you reveal and conceal. So we said, strike the body with the piece of the sacrificed cow. Thus Allah brings the dead to life and shows you His signs, that you may understand. Then after that, your hearts were hardened, and became like a rock or even harder. For among rocks there are some from which rivers spring forth, others which, when they cleave asunder, send forth water, and others which tumble down for fear of Allah, and Allah is not unaware of what you do. So the tumbling down, some crumble before God, being fear. So there's like this symbolism here with the mountain rocks as well. I know what they mean by like this hardness inside. You can feel it sometimes. And then some rocks, rivers spring forth, so when they crack, something will come through, letting out life, cleave asunder, to collapse and just break, and go underneath it as it comes out. It's quite interesting, this one, because it's very psychological too, almost. That is, remember what happened to you with Musa, when you killed the men and disputed among yourselves concerning the crime. In other words, you argued as to who killed him until the matter nearly got out of hand and almost, were it not for Allah guiding you, resulted in great turmoil against you. Oh yeah, isn't that when the guy who Moses was trying to stick up for him, but then he was like a rabble rouser, somebody who was always trying to like getting in trouble. Then Musa told you how to find out about the murderer, slaughter a cow. You should have hastened to obey his orders and should not have objected to them. But you insisted on objecting and said, "Are you mocking us?" The Prophet of Allah said, "Allah forbid that I should be so ignorant. The ignorant man is the one who speaks nonsense, in which there is no benefit." Okay, so you're ignorant if you're saying things that have like no benefit. And he is the one who mocks people. So, just one who only mocks. The wise man, on the other hand, thinks that one of the greatest shameful acts that undermine one's religious commitment and rational thinking is mocking a person who is a human being like him. Even if he is superior to him, that superiority requires him to show gratitude to his Lord and compassion towards his slaves. Okay, but what if you're mocking like a bad person? I don't know. Like, some people should be mocked. Because, like, for example, the leader of North Korea, he lied to his people and says that he doesn't use the bathroom. So, like, in America, people will make cartoons about a leader like, oh, look, he doesn't go to the bathroom. And he forces his people to believe it, right? Because he's a totalitarian. And it's just like, people mock it, right? So I don't know. I think it depends on type of mocking, like cruel mocking, right? I think is what he's implying, right? When Musa said that to them, they realized that he was speaking the truth and said, "Pray to your Lord to make clear to us what sort of cow it should be. How old should it be?" He said, "He, Allah says, the cow should be neither too old nor too young, but somewhere in between." In the Bible, it tells you the year. It to be your first year. It's the first year. Now do as you are commanded, and stop confusing the matter with so many questions. They said, "Pray to your Lord to make clear to us what her color should be." He said, "He, Allah says, a yellow cow, pure and rich in color, that is, of deep color, pleasing to the beholder with its beauty." So essentially, like the coat of the animal. Now, what's interesting is some dog breeders, if you go to them and tell them, "I want to buy a dog," and the first thing you tell them is that you're a specific coat color, they'll be like, "Well, you don't really looking for a good quality dog, you're just looking for color, and that's not how you get a good dog." And then other people would argue, like horse breeders, like the color matters. And then cows, if you're going to sell the hides, that color of the coat matters to be pleasing in order to fetch a good price. Even with certain pelts, that's the same thing. So there's a different dynamics to think about that. Like where they could have incurred, like, where's the rationality in demanding such details? But it is quite interesting when you think about it. I really like it. It's something to think about. They said, "Pray to your Lord to make clear to us exactly what she is, because to us all cows look alike, and we still do not know what you want. And surely if Allah wills, we will be guided." He said, He, Allah, says, "A cow not broken in, that is trained to till the earth by plowing or water the fields. That is, she is not used for the purpose of irrigation, sound and whole, that is, free of defects and not having been used for work." Because the meat would have been in prime condition. You know, like, for example, if you. That's the reason why they cut off the bull's testicles, so that the testosterone doesn't make the meat too tough. And another reason why male calves in the dairy industry, they are kept in a pen to keep their muscles soft so that they don't tense up, so their meat is nice and tender. There's a foie gras where you stuff the so much food in the geese or goose, whatever it's called, duck, and its liver gets so fat because it's like not supposed to get too much exercise, and you eat it, it's nice and creamy. So an animal that hasn't worked the field, the meat is quite tender, juicy, and full of flavor, and smells really good when you cook it. So tough meat is a little bit different. I mean, I like bison. Bison doesn't have too much fat, but you can, make some good meals out of it. But it's a tad bit more tough, and that uh, particular animal likes to headbutt with other animals, and it's quite, similar to the same exertion energy that a plowing animal would use. One is pulling, one is, pushing and jamming, but it's still comparative in terms of how the density of the meat would affect it. So again, also some bad quality beef, you can see where the slaughterhouse workers beat it too much and there'll be bruises on the meat, and you don't really want that. You don't want any bruised meat. You want something nice, clean, and pure. And I've got to see meat like that that's just so pure from such a well treated animal that when it cooks it, man, all you need is a little bit of salt and bam, it's just too good. So it is interesting that of course, that's the kind of creature that you would want to sacrifice, right?